Hi, I'm Miss Chris. Welcome to my greenhouse. Come on inside. So I'm in my greenhouse this morning and I thought we could check in on some of the things that we did in episode 5 and 6. If you remember, in episode 5 we looked at some sweet potatoes, and if you remember, this one was all bent over and light pink. Now it has really perked up, starting to get some leaves. And if we look at the bottom, we have lots of roots. And we also noticed that our jar needs some water. Add some water in there. And let's take a look at the other one. The other one didn't have any leaves coming, it just had the little nodules. And now you can see where out of those nodules, those leaves that we will make into the slips are coming out. This one also needs some water for its roots. So let's put a little water in there. The water is staying nice and clear, so you don't need to change it. Let's see, and then in episode 6, I think we planted some tomato seeds. And today is April 11th, and they are up. We planted 2 seeds and they both germinated. So as these get bigger, we'll separate them and put them into 2 different pots, and we'll have 2 tomato plants. Our onions are still coming along, a little bit taller and thicker. I transplanted the red cabbage and the chard, the leafy green, I separated them out from the little green trays into some pots so they can get bigger. Here I have some zinnias coming up, some flowers. And here I have some tiny basils. Basils start out very tiny. They're just starting to come out. So we'll give everybody a drink of water. And remember, not too much. We don't want to drown our little plants. And then I think let's go out to the flower garden and see what's been happening out there. So here we are in the flower garden, and even though it snowed yesterday, spring is still coming on strong. Our flowers were brave through the snow. You can see more of them are blooming than from episode 1. Our crabapple tree has little leaves coming out. The hyacinth, this white, very lovely smelling flower, is blooming. I think let's take a closer look at a few things and see what's been going on here. Now here is the crocus. Remember episode 3, there was a lovely purple bloom here. One of the earliest blooms in the spring, and now it has dried up. It has a very short blooming time in the spring, so just its leaves are left for now. Sign that spring is really getting underway. Here is our daffodil. We have one lonely late bloomer. All of the other ones are drying up. You can see where the flowers have been. And here is our fennel. Remember, we drew the leaf, and back then the plant was only about this big, and now it has really expanded into all of these beautiful frilly leaves. Hey, Bobo. Now here is a plant you haven't met yet. It's a very unusual plant. You can see it has spotty leaves. and clusters of flowers, purple and pink together. This plant is a Pulmonaria, or a Lungwort, which is a very funny name. A type of plant that is used as a medicine for lung illnesses. And it's a perennial. That means it comes back every year, so it has perked back to life. It's going to have a lot more flower clusters. You can see the ones that are not quite open yet. And one more spring flower. This one is quite showy. It's bright yellow in the center, and its purple petals arranged like a star. You can see the points of the yellow. Has crinkly leaves. The leaves look a lot like the lettuce leaves in my greenhouse, and in fact you can eat them. They have a little bit stronger taste than lettuce. This is the primrose, and it's also an early spring flower. So I've brought out my sketchbook. I think it would be very fun to sketch and color in this lovely purple primrose. Well, let's take a closer look at it. Break it down into its parts, get its gesture. So we can see it has a circle there in the middle, the top of the pistil, and it goes down into a little tunnel. You can see the shadows there around it. And then the yellow part is shaped like a star, like we said, coming out from the center. And then at each point of the star is a purple petal. And the petals are rounded with a little bit of a notch there, almost like the top of a heart. So let's practice making a star first, and then we will put this plant together. We'll take our pencil and do a little bit of practicing. We're going to start with a circle. And we're going to imagine that that's a person, a body. And we'll put 2 legs on that person. 2 arms out to the side. And a neck. And a head. We won't make a round head. We're just making a straight line to represent the head. Then we will go around those 5 parts, and we'll get a star. Let's try that again. So we make our round body, 2 legs down towards the earth, 2 legs out toward the side, and the neck, head towards the sky. And then we use those as a guide. Go round, same way you would make bubble letters. Then we have our star. So I think we are ready to make our flower. We'll start from the center and we'll move towards the periphery as we do our flower. Start with a nice circle in the middle. We'll put that top of that pistil inside, so another little circle inside. And we'll make our person to represent our star. Our 5 legs, arms, neck and head. And then we're going to use that as a guide to draw what will be the yellow part of the flower of the primrose. Okay. Now remember, you can stop the video at any time if you need to go slower and catch up. So now each of these 5 points of the star will get a petal, rounded like a little heart on top, and put the dent in. Come down. We're not going to come to the point of a heart because we're going to make another petal with the dent. Another one for this point, and then another one for that point, and another one for that point. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. We can also give it a little leaf, and looking at the leaves, they look a lot like the lettuce leaves, and they are rounded, a vein down the center, and just like the fennel that we drew, it has the pairs of side veins going out opposite each other. So we'll put a leaf right here. And it has a crinkly edge, a little wavy line there. Has that vein that comes down, sort of a rib, comes down the center. And then we'll come out in our pairs, just like we did with the fennel in the other episode. Moving out from the center, just like the leaf grows. Okay, now we can add some color. So that pistil in the middle, I don't know if you can see it, light greenish yellow. I'm going to take my light green. If you don't have a light green, you can use regular green and make it light or mix some yellow with it. We'll go around the edge there. We might add a little hint of brown to show that there's some shadow there, that there's a tunnel down into the flower, down to the nectar. And then we'll take our yellow, and we think about how the shape is, because we don't want to just color straight across. We're going to color out from the center to the points. Each point gets its own direction. That way our shading helps us feel the actual shape. Now when you sketch, you don't have to make your pencil marks so dark. Mine are really dark so that you can see them on the video, but you could actually sketch this in pretty lightly with a regular pencil, or even with the colors that you're planning on using to color it. Mine are dark just for us learning how to do this. Alright, so we have this nice yellow center star, and we're ready for the purple petals. And the same thing, our petals go out away from the center towards the periphery, so we're going to color that way. And it's okay if we don't stay exactly in the lines that we drew. Like here, if I want to, I can round this out a little bit more now as I color it in. Coloring it towards the outside, giving this nice rounded shape. And if you want to give it this sort of luminous quality, you can see there are not just one color of purple in there. You can take another shade of pink, or I have a pinkish purple here, and go on top, blend in with that purple on the bottom, and that gives it more depth, more interest of color. I'm going to leave the petals for now and look at the leaf. So take our green and go over the ribs, the veins, the green, darken it in. And then we'll color shade that way along the veins towards the edge, moving up the leaf. Get this curly edge here. And go over the veins if we need to. Put a little shadow down in the bottom part of the leaf. And the same with this. I can take a lighter color green and go over top. Or I can take, if you don't have a light green, you can take some yellow. Go over top. Give it a more springy green, sunny shade. And continue and do the whole leaf. So you can take your time. I made one earlier. And here it is, completely colored in. Take your time and enjoy it. And that is our primrose. Okay, so we have been crouching down and drawing in our contracted posture. So now is a good time to take a little stretch break and expand. We can even stand in a star, like the star we just drew. And we have our star leg and our other star leg, star arm, the star arm, and our star head. And give a nice stretch. And relax. And don't forget to get outside.